So I have been getting just a ton of requests for this one, so I'm looking forward to doing it. Everybody has requested a full mod guide for the Nerf Rebelle Messenger, and boy is this a sweet blaster stock. I think that it's really, really neat, and I can't wait to crack it open and show you what's up. It looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Phillips head screws to knock out, and let's take a look at the internals. So opening up the blaster, we get a very interesting look at the Smart AR system, the simple red barrels, and this, which is kind of wild, it is the new, it's almost like a lever action kind of rail attachment thing. They've been doing a lot of different things here, and I think that it's neat that they've removed the need for springs. Now you can see that the catch is mechanical, it's not actually a, it's a torsion spring, I guess is the best way to put it. These should separate pretty easily. So we have a plunger housing here, which has a single screw holding it in place, and we will definitely be upgrading the spring in here, but just taking this apart, you can see that it is just a reasonably sized plunger, small length, high volume, and then over here there should be one screw in here, I believe, down in the center, which will allow us to get, not that screwdriver, need one that's longer. This should allow us to get inside, take a look at these barrels. Now, I'm actually not going to remove the air restrictor from any of these because that would ruin the blasters. So what I'm going to do is move these down and snip them. So I'll show you what that looks like, and then we will get to the rebarreling, because I think that this thing could definitely use some brass for a tighter fit. So now that these have all been pushed down, and I actually like to save them, they're great for stirring up resin and epoxy and whatnot because you can just pitch them afterwards. I want to point out that I will be rebarreling these with 17/32 brass. It is just a great barrel fit for darts. This piece needs a little bit of shaving down before it'll be ready to go, but I'm going to rebarrel them. A lot of nerfers like to extend the barrels. That will give you more power, but it makes your blaster much more fragile because it's easy to bend brass. So if it's exposed, it's dangerous and very easy to dent. So I am going to recess it just a hair inside these red barrels, and while I'm doing that, I'm going to start thinking about if I want to give this a paint job or not. So you can see here that we have now brassed our barrels, and I only put them in this far so that you could still see the air restrictor, and there was no way that it was going to interfere with that. And you can see that presses that down, and now it is activated and it's functional on all of the barrels, which is very, very important. These will now take stefans as well as regular elite style darts and whistlers and old style darts, which is very, very cool. So let's move on to the plunger tube next. So you can see in this cluster of messenger parts here that the plunger head comes off with just a simple Phillips head screw, which is in there more or less, and then this is the original spring, and I've decided to replace it with a length of K26. Yes, it is shorter, but the coils are thicker and I needed that much compressible space. This is after a little bit of testing. I have determined that this is more or less the ideal length of K26. You are welcome to kind of guess based on this video. So we're going to scrap the original spring and put this back together, and hopefully by the time we're all said and done, we will have just an awesome, very nice messenger. I intend to Teflon tape under this O-ring to make sure that our seal is very nice. A lot of people like to put O-rings or hot glue or super glue or whatever adhesive of their choice into this system to make sure that it is very tight, but the friction fit here is just ridiculously tight in my model, so I did not think that that was necessary, and honestly, I have a pretty hard time believing that anything like that would be necessary on any other models, just due to the way that this is built and how you screw it in through the front. I opted not to go with a paint job because A, it was simpler, and B, I have every intention of selling this blaster since I don't really need a messenger. The Draculina is currently in love with her Fire Strike, and I just have so many loner blasters as it is. So I will put the link to that in the description box, but first let's finish this up and make sure it is sweet. Alright guys, so this is the completed modded Nerf Rebelle Messenger. I've signed it here as Drac. I tried to incorporate the Rebelle logo. And then again over here, currently it only has one dart chambered and it's difficult to see, but you can see that I've chambered a slug. It's an 1.5 inch Southeast style slug. This blaster will now fire Stefans and slug type ammunition. It fires them very nicely, I might add. It'll also take a variety of different kinds of ammunition. This is a old school streamline, this is an old school suction dart, so the blaster will now fire just about anything you can chamber into it. This is a very worn elite dart from the SENC dart bin. And so there's that, and that. And old school streamlines are just as bad as they ever were. But that is the fully modified Rebelle Messenger by Drac. I am selling this one. It will be available in the description box. There will be a link to my eBay. And then in addition to selling that, I have decided to sell a small piece of Nerf history. This is just a testament to how nice enamel paint is. While the acrylic paint that I used for the priming and the trigger is not standing up to the test of 3 years of battle, the rest of it is holding up very nicely. This is one of the original Tron Nightfinders. It's actually one of only 2 remaining blasters from my original kind of start in Nerf. I have this and then the Doom Whisper, and that is it. The LED is just as bright and nice as ever. The plunger padding is held up, and what's incredible is just how good the seal on this blaster still is. You can see that it still has an almost perfect seal. It is inching forward just a little bit, but then when we release, it fully compresses, or decompresses rather. But I am selling the original Tron Nightfinder, a little piece of Nerf history, and I am selling the modified Rebelle Messenger. As always guys, thanks for watching. Thank you for continuing to support my craft and my channel. I really, really appreciate it.